Number 15. Stranger Encounter. When you're an urban explorer planning to explore an abandoned building, be prepared to find it occupied. All Around Lifestyle published this video in December of 2015. Mike wrote, "Me and a mate went exploring in a grain elevator, which is located in Poland in a city called Warklaw. The footage was captured on a GoPro Silver 3 edition. After exploring the cellar and several other floors, they explore the grounds. There are several other small buildings in the area, and as they approach one of them, they hear voices.
So you can hear there's someone in there.
This building is as dilapidated as the rest of them, rubble on the ground, but in the far room, the guys distinctly hear several voices. Mike enters the small building, and when the people in question appear in the far doorway, he asks in Polish if he can record there. One man says yes, but another says no and tells him to leave now. Mike explains afterwards that he believes the people in the abandoned buildings were living there. Don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to run into anyone in this remote place." Number 14. The Rattler. When Soda Paps bikes down Bulldog Trail in South Dakota's Black Hills with his GoPro mounted, he probably wasn't expecting it to almost cost him his life. This video, published in May of 2012, shows the rocky dirt trail beneath his tires, sometimes surrounded by tunnels, other times trailing beneath old wood bridges. Just as the bicyclist meanders over a little bridge between a gate, the Rattler attacks. He's easy to miss as he blends in with the sand, but Soda Paps aims his GoPro down to get a good shot of the slithering serpent. He notes in the comments, "Yes, I was wearing the helmet and leaned in real close to get this shot." The snake did bite me, but luckily I had a friend who sucked out the venom. Even though that was quite the scary situation for some GoPro footage, he doesn't regret it. He says it's one of the coolest bits of film he's caught on camera. You can't deny him that. Number 13. Train surfing. Going train surfing through a forest in Denmark is nearly as insane as you'd imagine it to be. Just watch this footage published by OJ Adventures in June of 2016, which shows what it's like to jump a train and ride it like a surfboard. The whole thing was captured on the GoPro Hero 4 Black Edition. OJ Adventures writes, "We jumped on the train in a small town up north and drove down to our hometown. Unfortunately, the train driver spotted us at the end of the ride, but thankfully we were just a couple hundred meters from the station. The crew notes that the train driver had suddenly exited the locomotive. Clearly, he'd noticed their antics, and the four became alarmed at the encounter, so they spring down from the flatbed and run along the tracks. Well, certainly a daring stunt. Things could have gone much worse, and they're lucky no one was hurt." Number 12. Troop Encounter. We've all played Call of Duty, but what's it really like to be on the front line? This first-person footage will give you an idea. The Famous World published this footage in January of 2018. The video, which is 25 minutes long, is filmed from the perspective of the driver of the US Humvee. You can see more vehicles in front and someone outside guiding the driver to position the Humvee as a blockade. The driver tells his commander that the opposing forces are taking fire, which you can hear in the background.
You're looking south, right? Look where Gonzo's firing. Kilo 05 to Struck 5. Can you give us the distance and direction over?
The driver then hops outside and fires in the direction of the opposing forces. Following some back and forth, the driver arms himself and crosses the desert in open view to cover his brothers in arms, one of whom is hurt on the ground. They load the man into one of the Humvees, and then there's a good amount of running back and forth between the barricade and the Humvee. At some point, they load up to head off. It's unclear whether the opposing forces stood down, but what is clear is the scary standoff was handled textbook by these men. Number 11. Wolf Encounter. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be a tame dog coming face to face with a wolf pack, this video shows sadly just that. Svensic Jake published his footage in October of 2015 writing, 4-year-old Swedish elkhound Clara attacked by 2 wolves outside Sun Municipality. For a long moment they watch each other. Then brave Clara approaches the wolf, likely thinking he is harmless. After sniffing around, the wolf attacks. The dog yelps as the wolf snaps at her repeatedly. This scary incident in the point of view of Clara, the Swedish elkhound, is harrowing. It lasts nearly 10 minutes, and Clara managed to survive in part due to the vest which, according to Svensic Jake, was equipped with steel specially made for protecting against wolf attacks. Thankfully, Clara lived to tell the tale. Number 10. Poltergeist. Setting up your GoPro to capture unusual activity in your home can sometimes turn up things of the paranormal variety. Mellowbird found exactly that when he set up his GoPro, angled towards the kitchen area of his home. The footage shows the oven door in the far end of the room falling slowly open. Maybe the poltergeist wants to cook something. Then closer to the camera, a door to the right opens. Next, inexplicably, a chair falls over onto the floor. This is not the first poltergeist video captured by Mellowbird. This YouTuber's house seems to be extra creepy. As a number of the commenters note, many in the comments section suggest that the uploader have his home blessed, but most are just freaked out about all the paranormal activity, as am I. Number 9. The Worker. If you're going to enter an abandoned hospital, you better have some patience, because you might just come across some squatters. Ruin Road published this footage in April of 2017 writing, "Sketchiest encounter yet." The footage was taken at United Community Hospital, an abandoned hospital in Detroit, Michigan. Even approaching the building is haunting. Regardless, the team heads inside, and it looks just about how you'd imagined it. Hollowed out graffiti on every surface, water dripping from who knows where. As they explore the abandoned hospital, they find graffiti with an arrow pointing down some stairs. They head down to find a long, creepy room, the morgue. But it isn't until later in their exploration that they shine their flashlight and camera into a room and hear a voice.
Hi.
It grunts and the YouTuber responds with a hi, and then quickly turns to leave. Their pace quickens to a double step and then a run, as whomever they just encountered seems to be in hot pursuit. "We're getting out of here right now," the cameraman says. Downstairs and outside in the much less creepy light of day, the cameraman is called over by another man and given a lecture about how he's trespassing on this site. Apparently, the man who they'd run into on the second floor of the building was watching this exchange from above and yelled down to the man on the ground, "You're not supposed to be here either." The man on the ground, who claims to be a worker, then proceeds to offer the YouTuber a tour of the building for a little cash.
It'd be nice good tour, okay? We could get you some pictures of
Okay.
nice good whatever. And give us
Okay, I have my wallet in the car. I could go there.
The worker claims that they're redeveloping the building, knocking down walls, but keeping the steel frame intact. I'd have to agree with the consensus in the comments of this video that El Toro was not in fact a security guard or a worker. Number 8. The Creature. Encounters with strangers in abandoned places and the paranormal are scary enough. So what happens when you encounter some type of humanoid creature in the middle of a forest? Strange Videos published this footage in December 2016. The footage is taken in the woods. You can hear birds singing and chirping. It seems like a calming, pleasant, peaceful nature walk. Then you spot it. Down the center of the shot creeps past a dark creature. It's hard to tell what the figure is at this distance, but its shoulders are hunched and the way it moves makes it seem not of this world. A closer shot of the creature calls its species even further into question. Most in the comments of the video seem to agree that it's not a Bigfoot. The gait and the creature's arm length seem to invalidate the Bigfoot theory. So what else could this creature possibly be? Without any additional footage, there will be no way to tell for sure. Number 7. Fire alarm. Imagine you were walking past an abandoned factory when you saw this. Edge Ninja published this terrifying video in March of 2017. Although it was recorded all the way back in 2013, Edge Ninja explains, the factory, as it was dubbed, had been an eerie fixture in our neighborhood since before my family even moved in. In 30 years, I never saw a single person or vehicle go in or out. The YouTuber walks around the building to confirm that the lights are flashing in multiple wings. Even creepier as Edge Ninja zooms in on a light in a stairwell near the end of the video. YouTuber Oreo the Wolf Fox points out a ghoulish image in the left window, what appears to be a face. Cue the shivers. This building is no longer abandoned. It was renovated and is now used as a factory for a watch company. One wonders if the new factory workers have crossed paths with this creepy figure in the window. Number 6. Witch encounter. Have you ever gone on a real-life witch hunt? Way of Vlogs has, and he published his scary encounter in June of 2016 writing, "Finally found where the witch has been living." The YouTuber must have posted other videos of the witch prior to searching for her abode. In this footage, he claims that these stick crosses that he's come across in the woods indicate where the witch he encountered is living. He says there's logs in this wooded area and ceremonial things, although none of that is shown. Then he points out the strangest thing, a teepee made of sticks. As he's filming the teepee, something sets him on edge. He pans around and off to the left stands a woman with jet black hair dressed in white. She's unmoving, but her presence there is unnerving enough to make the YouTuber hightail it out of there. What would you do if you came across this lady in the forest at night? Number 5. Abandoned house. Located in Bobcaygeon, Ontario, Canada, this abandoned house has got some hidden secrets, and they're secrets you don't want to know. Published by .do's Urban Exploration in April of 2013, the YouTuber writes, "So I am not a believer in the paranormal, ghosts, spirits, or that type of thing, but I do accept odd things happen from time to time. What happened yesterday has caused me to consider being a little more open-minded. So what happened yesterday?" He goes on to explain that the creepy abandoned house that they decided to explore sits about half a kilometer back from the road, alongside a barn and some other outlying buildings. The house appears boarded up, but after ducking under a boarded-in storage area of the house, the YouTuber soon discovered a way inside, an open door. Inside, household furnishings are scattered everywhere. As the camera swings around, a door to the right opens and then falls closed. It continues to move jarringly. A short time later, while the door is still moving and creaking, they shove through and find nothing on the other side. After entering another disheveled room, the camera swings round and appears as though they're considering heading upstairs to explore the second floor. But then the video cuts out and the pair are back outside the boarded up home. He explains that though the feeling and sounds likely don't translate to the viewer, they were incredibly frightening and loud, while creeping around the home, putting the YouTuber and his partner on edge. One of these sinister sounds was that of someone else walking inside the home, another something heavy being dragged over the floorboards. He also wrote that when they left, it felt like they were being followed. Watch and see if you feel the experience, or if this was a case of you just had to be there. Number 4. Found video. What happens when you find a GoPro with found footage? More Bad Ideas published this video of his findings in July of 2017. The video starts with a YouTuber mounting a motorbike that he's going to take for a spin. After about 10 minutes of riding footage, cut to the footage on this GoPro he discovered. When he opens the GoPro, a piece of paper falls out. It reads GORB 565464344, a password. He plugs this password in, and he finds his nightmares on video. First shown is a masked being, creepy as ever. Next is this mannequin-like figure moving sporadically towards the camera, with creepy carnival music playing in the background. The next is a young man holding a skull, talking about how you have to make sure it's the real thing in order for someone to pay good money for it. Then back to the masked being. This is when the YouTuber shuts the video down and wipes the memory card clean. Many in the comments think this video is cursed. Do you feel differently after watching it? Number 3. Ghost. Ghostly girls are enough to scare a pack of boys at night. Published by L. Kevin in November of 2017, the title in Spanish reads, "A ghost girl gets out in Mexico's Pantheon." The video begins with a bunch of guys running off and shining a flashlight towards some trees. It's unclear what they've seen there, but they start shouting in Spanish over towards that area. One of them carries a large stick, likely as protection to use against whatever they saw there. As they continue to shout, the camera moves to one of the guys who's sitting on the ground, and when it turns back up again to the spot, there's a shadowy figure on the wall of the building. It appears to be a long-haired girl with her head tilted. They start walking away down a side road. Then one of them starts shouting and they all start running. Although it's unclear what they saw, whatever it was must have been frightening enough to hop a fence to escape. As E. Mendez in the video's comments wrote, "The one who searches finds." These boys found what they were looking for. I bet they won't dare search again. Number 2. The door. Have you ever seen a door slam all on its own? Okay, but have you seen it happen in a creepy underground morgue? Steady Pop published this horrifying video in May of 2017, which begins scary and then escalates even further. As the camera wads into the darkness with a flickering lantern lighting a hallway, strange slamming noises are heard. You might be screaming, "Don't go down there," at your computer screen right now, but the cameraman isn't listening. He walks towards the hallway, and as he gets closer, you can see what's making that slamming noise. It's a red door down at the end of the hallway. It's opening and closing shut on repeat with no end in sight. As the cameraman gets closer and closer, your heart starts beating faster and faster. And then suddenly the door stops slamming. The lights flicker on and then off completely. When they turn back on again, the cameraman walks over to the door and opens it. Nothing is inside. The cameraman turns down towards the end of the hallway and into the adjacent room, but nothing. Was this the paranormal in action? Or as some in the comments believe, was a fishing line involved? Real or fake, what do you think? It's certainly some interesting footage. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person, so if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way, you'll be notified of the new video we upload every Tuesday. Number 1. Human vertebrae. What's the creepiest thing that you've found on an urban exploration? I'm betting it's not creepier than what Explore Abandoned Places with Tattoo Tony Alton found in St. Louis. The YouTuber published this in February of 2017 writing, "We found part of a spinal column in the basement of this creepy abandoned house." The YouTuber goes on to say that the entire street is abandoned. No big surprise if it's scary and dangerous. Tattoo Tony says the houses here were built sometime between 1910 and 1916. As he enters the first building, you can see that it's completely tattered and dilapidated. The wallpaper is flaking from the walls. The ground is absolutely covered in debris and filth. There's still furniture left over in some of the upstairs rooms. It looks as though whoever lived in these homes just up and left one day, leaving everything behind. As he walks through the building, you can hear wind whipping through the place, so it's understandable why the ceilings and all the walls are flaking. But it's when Tony heads into the basement that things get really chilling. Here, he comes across part of a spinal column. Some in the comments debate whether it was from an animal or a human. Whatever the species, Tony wrote, it was a little spooky. Urban exploration can have its risks. The question is now, what is the story behind the spinal column? Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!